Hey comic book fans, this is Mike Fitzgerald and first issue review, Dynamic #1 by Top Cow Studios. Now, the first thing I need to let you know is Dynamic #1 is part of the Top Cow pilot season event. Now this is the third Top Cow pilot season. What it is, it's a annual or semi-annual event that began in 2007 by comics publisher Top Cow Productions. Readers are able to vote on the future of one of 6, or in this year's case 5, one-shot pilot comics released throughout the year. The voting takes place on the pilot season MySpace page, and the highest voter getter later becomes a series. Alright. Well, an interesting thing about this season of pilot season is all 5 of the different comic books up for vote are written by Robert Kirkman. They are murderer, stealth, stellar, hardcore, and dynamic. Now, in earlier seasons, there had been diverse roster of creative teams. This year, they're all Robert Kirkman, with covers by Marc Silvestri. Now, Robert Kirkman is responsible for some number of critically acclaimed comic series, such as Invincible, and his work with more on The Walking Dead, which is already set up to become a TV series soon on AMC. So that's exciting, and I'm a fan of Kirkman's work on The Walking Dead. So it seemed like the dynamic one would be something I would be interested in. I was wrong. Dynamic is the story of Scott Graves, who wakes in the night, who is wakened at night by a demon who wants him to kill his family. Not wanting to kill his family, Scott Graves apparently has the option of killing other people, sending souls to this demon, this female demon. So, wearing a hood, and just scraps of stuff, which include some roughly cast together claw weapons, he goes out in the night. Now, anyone who would be forced in this position we don't exactly know why, and this is only the first issue, thinks, hey, well, if I have to send souls, I'll send the souls of evildoers to the damned. This doesn't always work out, unfortunately. And Scott is Graves, who comes up with these names. Well, actually, I know who comes up with these names. Robert Kirkman. I mean, Graves. Like we didn't get the point or the tone of the series, let's call the guy Graves, I don't think it has any more depth. No. So, turns out, in his first encounter that we're witness to, he ends up slaughtering a bunch of cops, just who are there to bring him in. And it's a slaughter, and you don't see any attempts on his part to pull back the violence or just simply to escape. And it's quite graphic violence, and it's also almost unbelievable levels, or at least when you see these wrapped up little things, these claws that he has, and he easily dices through anything. Probably the only other character in comics that has claws like this would be Wolverine. So, No big points for originality there. Later in the book, he often also offs some bad guys. And then even later, we discover he's a cop and he's charged with turning in or finding the dynamic, which is what his alter egos referred to. It's also referred to as a vigilante in the synopsis description by the publisher, but I don't really think we have any reason to refer to him as a vigilante. So, what do we have here? We don't really have much. He is under some Faustian pact to send souls to this female devil to save his family from himself. Kill others or kill them. The Faustian Pact's not entirely original, hence comics such as, Faust, or this also seems a little reminiscent, except this seems reminiscent of, another Image comic. I don't know. It came out quite some time ago. Some people who are familiar with Image might have heard of it, called, Spawn. So, that's it in a nutshell. There's not really much to it. You've got gratuitous violence. You've got a unsympathetic, unimaginative main character. You have some nice art by Joe, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his last name because I really can do damage. Benitez? No, see? There's no way I could have done it. Here's another thing I don't get. Obviously, we can't have the hero, the main character. How could we emphasize with the main character over, having to do this to save his wife and child if his wife isn't, hot, And just to make sure you know that, hey, here's an ass shot. Yeah, 15 cops died, but look at the ass on his wife. It's worth it, right? So, I'm hoping one of the other 4 comics in the pilot season is worthwhile. I think this is a case that Robert Kirkman might have spread himself a little too thin. He's also quite a comic fan. I love comics. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love comics, but I didn't name my child Peter Parker, which Robert did. His child's name is Peter Parker Kirkman. There's a fan. And I will still say he does some very great work. Demonic just isn't one of those times. Thanks for watching this episode of First Issue Review. I'm Mike Fitzgerald.